The other day, Cern Basher was on my show, and he promised that he would come back in 5 minutes, actually. Although this is Thursday, in case we say anything that is timely or you get confused, even though you're probably seeing this either Friday night or Saturday. Cern, how did you do it? You hung in here.
I did. I slept in the shirt for a couple of days, but it's still holding up, so that's good.
Well, all right. So you promised me that what you're going to do this time, among other things, probably, is talk about jobs. I started I don't know what number career it would have been, but I did not expect that at age 74, I would be starting a career as an influencer.
Yeah.
And 2.5 years ago, but here I am with my primary income at 77 after 2.5 years being in the YouTube influencer business. So who knows? There could be another career in my future, and maybe we'll learn today what direction I should take, what direction I shouldn't take in terms of future jobs
It's very clear for the next 18 months.
for the next 18 months. Okay.
Yeah. Beyond that, things get very fuzzy very fast.
Very muddy. All right. Well, I'll pay careful attention because I am, wondering how I will spend my 80s.
Right. Right. So let's start. I've got a few slides to share as I
Okay.
as I usually have.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll start where we left off last time in case people didn't get a good look at this gold Cybertruck. This is a thing of beauty.
Now,
Uh,
there's also a rose gold one.
yeah.
And there used to be a gal that was on X all the time, Kelly. I don't know what happened to her. She's not around anymore. And she did this rose gold Model S, I think. And then somebody copied her with a Cybertruck, and it's pretty stunning.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just enjoy that. And then we have to move on to the disclaimer. This is back to the old disclaimer again. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
oh, that's no fun.
No fun. But here's something fun.
Okay.
Do electricians listen to AC/DC or something more current?
More current. Man, there's so many puns in there. That's
I
good.
was pretty amped up by this when I saw it.
Ramped up. I got a charge out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Speaking of this, Adam Dorr, who should get way more views on his posts than he does,
yeah.
he says, from a high priest of degrowth, it is, of course, technically possible to scale up clean energy output to cover total global energy demand. The question is whether it's feasible to do so at a rate that's fast enough to respect the carbon budget for 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius, while at the same time growing the global economy at the usual pace. Translation, technology can't save us in time. It can't go fast enough. And then he says, meanwhile, in solar. So the forecast down there on the bottom left, and the reality is we're adding a lot of solar generation capacity in the world.
Right. This is
Now,
true.
most of that may be in China, but you know what? That's okay. They were, polluting the world pretty rapidly too. So to the
Oh,
extent that they,
they're also adding coal plants. Hand in
yeah, well, they're doing it all. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
and
we
by,
got to start. We got to start somewhere, Randy.
yeah, well, and by the way, I think it's really important to say, I said this the other day, and I can't say it often enough. People are sitting here making the comparison between the United States and China with regard to the increase in energy production. But that's like comparing Elon Musk and me in terms of my need to increase my income. I mean, it's like China was 40 years ago was a third world nation. And in order to get to first world status, they needed to increase their energy production. That was an
Yeah.
absolute requirement, or they would not have been able to do it. The United States 40 years ago was the first world nation by
Sure.
far, and they didn't need to increase energy production to stay as the number one first world nation in the world, which we still are today. So you don't produce this energy if you don't need it. There's no economic benefit. There's no company that's going to go out and build additional productive capacity if there's nobody to use it. So to make this comparison is nonsense. Now, 5 years ago, we started to see this increased need. So 5 years ago, yeah, we maybe we've fallen behind the eight ball over the last 5 years and not responding quickly enough to this demand that we now see. But I think it would be putting a lot of onus on the 70-year-old Randy Kirk to ask him to have been able to foresee the AI requirements of energy.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that the Chinese do a better job of long-term planning than we do?
Well, they have this thing. It's called a dictatorship.
Yeah.
So once they make the decision, they get to make the decision, and then nobody can tell them that they're wrong. But they made a similar decision about 35 years ago with regard to building apartment buildings and condos. That didn't go so well.
Well, maybe overall, I mean, depending on how you're judging that, but overall, I guess it achieved their goal,
Right.
bringing people into cities.
But now they have ghost cities. Yeah.
Sure. Well, they built too much, but you know what? So what? There's a few people lost some money. Oh well.
Just
Yeah.
the entire middle class lost
Sure.
half their wealth.
Well,
Other than that,
they're there to serve the greater good. Yeah.
But back to your main point. I'm sorry. That's just a hobby horse I have right now.
Good tangent. I'll let you get that off your chest. That's good.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of greater good, the Tesla account posted this. I found it interesting. Nice to meet you. And we've got an image here of normal companies and Tesla. So not totally sure how to interpret this. Maybe you can help me.
I'm not sure either. I wish I could help you. Do you have even a theory?
Well, I mean, they're obviously admitting that they're not normal,
Oh, I see. Yes. Well, that's true.
right? And I guess that could be taken as a positive or negative, depending on your view of what normal means and is.
Exactly.
This guy that's labeled normal to me seems like a nice enough guy. I don't have a problem with him. Why does Tesla feel the need to run away here? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they running away or towards? I don't know.
Away. You can't see the person's face. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Now, I thought this was a clever retort.
Okay.
Tesla investors, normal investors. So, that may have been more appropriate.
There you go.
All right. So as long as we are, critiquing the company here, I posted this last night, Randy, and I think it's actually getting a pretty good response. So I made the suggestion to Tesla that, as great as their earnings calls are, if I could make one suggestion, and in addition to better audio quality. So let's just say that's my base suggestion. But beyond that, if I'm allowed to suggest something beyond better audio quality, would be to have the CFO prepare a quarterly written commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not without precedent. NVIDIA, for example, does it. They do a nice job. I even provided the link. But my reason for this is that, to the extent we can minimize the number of misunderstandings, misinterpretations of what's being said. Some people complain that the CFO is hard to understand. I get that. And I went through the conference call and was editing a transcript, and I did have to play certain things several times, but not just with him, with other executives as well, including Elon. Right. And that's maybe also because of the audio quality. But this, I think, would be very helpful for all investors, not just Wall Street, but anybody that's investing in Tesla. So I wrote this on behalf of all shareholders, and I hope the company does something like this at some point.
Yeah. So I have a lot of experience with this show. I also did 3 years of radio years ago. I've done a lot of extemp speaking, for trade shows and whatnot. And there is a sliding scale between memorization all the way down to completely extemp where you don't even have any notes. And I have found on YouTube, I need to write a script. Not in this situation. It's you and I just chatting back and forth. But my daily thing, I have a script.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the script unless it's a story that I'm reading. I'm not reading the script, but I've got a script for practically every word I'm going to say. I might have an aside from time to time, but I have a script. I don't think that Elon Musk is a better public speaker than I am. I don't think that the CFO is a better public speaker than I am. I think that they could do well to take your advice here and have a script. Now, you again, you can go off of it. You can do it not exactly. You don't have to read it. You can just read around it. But yeah, 100%. I think that's just appropriate. And it's the same thing. Same thing is true for these big events. When they do these events, everybody's just completely, like we're sitting around the campfire having a talk.
Yeah.
It's nice and casual. It's very what's the word for it? Transparent. It makes you seem real. But I think they would do well to have more of a planned presentation. It would come a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I'm of two minds about that. If there's a choice to be made, I'd rather the executives focus on the important things in terms of moving the needle at the company.
Mhm.
While as a consumer of this content, I would love them to be more polished and all that. That would be great.
Mhm.
But do I want Elon spending 4 hours of his day, developing a script for the earnings call? No, I don't.
No, he has Grok do it.
Well, maybe eventually AI helps with all this, right? And we'll get to that in a second in terms of the jobs that AI can take over now. But this to me, my guess is the CFO has notes in front of him when he's on these calls. I don't think he's just winging it.
Maybe.
I think Elon's just riffing it off the top of his head.
Yeah, yeah,
Right, and that's great. He does a great job.
yeah.
Right. Again, there's more I wish he would talk about, but still, I'm not faulting him here. It's just from the CFO's perspective, I think there's a lot of things that he says that maybe are being missed.
Yep, I'm with you 100%.
And maybe even, to expand the disclosure in some areas would be helpful too.
Yeah,
But that can evolve over time.
got it.
All right. Speaking of NVIDIA, NVIDIA is now worth more than, well, basically everyone else, according to this post. NVIDIA's $4 trillion valuation isn't just historic, it's comically massive, according to Mario. It's now worth more than Meta and Alphabet combined, more than Microsoft, more than Amazon and Apple together. At this point, NVIDIA could probably buy Netflix, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and have plenty of money left to build its own theme park. Again, silly things.
Yeah, now that Microsoft did pass 4 trillion for a minute yesterday. Not sure whether they held on to that, but they did pass 4 trillion.
Yeah. Now Microsoft is today at last check here, Microsoft is up 4%. So not quite,
Right,
but
okay. Mhm.
yeah, no, NVIDIA is certainly showing what is possible when you are a true AI company.
Right.
So again, back to our visual from yesterday's show of the Tesla car in the slingshot.
Right.
If you know, you know.
Right.
And then I thought this was an interesting post from Elon. He said, I resisted AI for too long, living in denial. Now it's game on.
Yeah.
Right. And he's got xAI, which makes sense. He's got Tesla and he's got SpaceX.
Yeah.
So SpaceX is going to be a major player in AI.
Yeah. Yeah. The SpaceX was probably the most interesting addition.
Yeah.
There was some additional commentary by him or someone that SpaceX doesn't use that much AI. And I'm like, what? How can that even be? But this is something I think you and I might have had a conversation with it a couple of weeks ago. I know I've talked to a couple of my co-hosts. It seems to me that Tesla and SpaceX and even X are in a very interesting position in that they not only have access to the most recent version of Grok or whatever that is, but they also can put on the new tools. They can do all these kinds of things that nobody else can do. So whereas as a business owner, if I'm using Grok, I might have an advantage over my competition. Tesla, SpaceX, and X, and all of the companies have even a greater advantage because they're on the bleeding edge, and also have the talent to be able to use it to for space age metals, for metallurgy, for ways of speeding up manufacturing processes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Without a doubt. So that's interesting. And then I thought that this post from Dylan Loomis was a really good idea. And he says, I'm sure many of you have had conversations about Tesla where people clearly don't understand the company, yet are dogmatic in their bearish view. Next time that happens, just show them this photo and ask them if they know what it is. Nine times out of 10, they're going to say, I don't know. Then you can respond with, well, then I'm not that interested in your opinion on Tesla. And I thought actually that was a fairly elegant way of figuring out where their level of understanding is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Now, this image is a little small, so I forgive your viewers if they don't recognize this, but this is the new Cortex-2 supercomputer they're building at Giga Texas.
Which is a massive building, and yet in the background you have an even more massive building.
Yeah, the manufacturing plant. So, and thanks to Joe Techmeyer for the image here, but this is an interesting way to approach this problem.
Yeah.
Okay. In the last show, Randy, we talked about AI and job loss and the impact on the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about Microsoft a minute ago, and our good friends at Microsoft Research had done a study on the impact of AI on jobs. This is generative AI, so large language models.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have this Microsoft Bing Copilot, and they looked at a data set of 200,000 privacy scrubbed conversations between users and the Copilot system.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to find out what sort of were the most common work activities people sought AI assistance for, and to the degree then that AI assistance was successful,
Right.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a whole study. It's 40 some pages long, and they're showing here on the left kind of different things that they're looking for the AI to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Provide information, respond to customer inquiries, provide general assistance, promote product, services, and programs. Oh, I'm sorry. These are kind of the functions of different jobs. These are so the tasks involved in certain jobs
Sure.
that AI could help with. And then on the right side is some of those jobs. So just a visual in terms of, each job has different tasks that people
Sure.
do during the day.
Sure.
Right? And some of those tasks are more amenable than others to having a large language model kind of replace people in that, doing those tasks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
So this was their list of well, sorry, I got these in the wrong order. This is a list of the jobs that are the greatest likelihood of being replaced by AI today.
Hmm.
Okay, so interpreters and translators. You can use AI to do that pretty reliably,
Yeah.
right? And so 51,560 people in that role. Historians. Okay, there's only 3,000 of those.
Yeah.
It gets replace a bunch of them. Passenger attendants, sales representatives of services, 1.1 million. Writers and authors, 49,000. We're about to write a book using AI,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? But yet you've got 10 authors, so I'm not really sure how that works, Randy. When you could have done the whole thing by yourself with one AI.
Just with Grok. Yeah.
Yeah. 2.8 million customer service representatives.
Right. That's already happening.
Yeah. Right.
fact,
And so on down the list.
In fact, it's having a big impact on India and Pakistan, and even I think to a certain extent the Philippines, where a lot of these customer service people were located.
Yeah. Now, one curious one on here, there's always some funny ones. One curious one on here is models, right? We're already seeing AI replacing, I guess, models.
Well, we certainly did on some jeans ad.
Yeah, and more on that in a second. We're going to be very timely with that here today. Yeah. So anyway, this is a pretty good list. The one that I see on here that affects me is personal financial advisors.
Oh.
Right. And so there's certainly elements of what I do in my job that AI can greatly assist with.
Yeah.
Does it completely replace me? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Particularly when I use AI, I see it making a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And I think probably people in all these jobs probably see that today in AI. So these scores aren't 100. They're not perfect replacements.
Yeah, I was hoping to see lawyers on there.
Um, well, I mean, we've got technical writers.
Yeah, but they didn't have,
As
they didn't have lawyer. I'm just hoping to get rid of them. I'm just,
yeah, I think we're a little bit a ways from that. They don't quite make the top 40 yet.
Okay.
Okay. And then the professions that are least impacted by Gen AI,
Okay.
um, people that do stuff
Physically.
physically,
Yeah.
right? It's hard to send an LLM to remove hazardous waste materials, right? Or embalm a body, or,
Yeah.
you name
Yeah.
it. But this is before the age of
Robots.
autonomous humanoid robots.
Yes.
So these people may feel safe for the next, few years.
2 years. Yes.
But don't be counting your chickens yet. Um, so it'd be interesting to see this revised Microsoft report when, we have robots starting to enter the workforce.
Right. Well, now, on the jobs that are going to go away, did that include YouTube influencers? I didn't see them on the list either.
I didn't see it on the list. We've
Yeah.
got editors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, unless
So
you consider yourself a model, Randy.
that's it. It's always been, a dream. Been more of a dream.
We have broadcast announcers and radio DJs.
Well, that's closer.
Yeah. News analysts, reporters, and journalists.
Again, there's this correlation.
Hosts and hostesses. Yeah, you're in all these camps. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we get to the topic at hand, right? We've got the Sydney Sweeney has great genes situation. So I thought this was funny, right? You've got one door, you've got the intelligent investor, people can learn about investing. On the other door, they're all interested in this latest thing,
Yeah.
which is fine. We've got to have some fun. So related to this, Tesla tests their seats,
Yes.
and they test it in a way where they use a robot with a pair of jeans
Yeah.
to test the seat. And so I've got an image of that. Oops, that's not it.
That's not it.
It's this one.
Okay.
And Elon says Tesla rubbing jeans on our seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tesla says our seats robot also has great genes. So they're getting in on the action here too.
Right. Right. Yep.
But they should have made the robot like this, in my opinion. Yeah.
Peachy.
Now, this one's a little bit out of order. Sorry for this, but we'll cover this while we're here. Elon says we could put Optimus in a cute outfit too. And Optimus replies, "Now you have my attention." Sorry, that's out of order. This one should have been next.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Tesla Optimus has great genes. This could be their marketing campaign for
Exactly.
Optimus at some point.
Yes, and they could have the face of Sweeney.
They could,
Yeah.
or just as it is. And then, of course, there's the whole Optimus family. Okay. And
Yes.
then Elon says Optimus will bring the food to your car next year. And so that gave me a little bit of optimism about the Optimus timeline.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the diner, here's a nice shot, a real shot
Yeah.
of the diner and 3 Cybertrucks.
Yeah. I was wondering if the robot with the Optimus is going to deliver those meals on Meals on Wheels, though. Are they going to be on the skates like the other?
Well, this image does show that. Oops,
Okay.
it's the robot is wearing roller skates there in the image.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Good.
stop moving my cursor so you can see it.
That'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Elon didn't say it wouldn't. Therefore, it must be. So speaking of robots doing things, you might have missed this, but Brett Adcock at Figure posted a video of his robot doing laundry at home at his house. Autonomously, by the way.
Yeah.
Picked up this bucket of laundry. His kids were standing there,
Yeah.
and it put the laundry in the washing machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, it didn't do much more than that, but still, I mean, this is pretty cool,
Right.
right? Put them in and then put the bucket back down. So anyway, so Tesla hasn't shared much about their robot lately. Figure to their credit is continuing to show us now and then some videos of their bot.
Yeah.
Not the most recent one. We haven't seen that yet. That's been in existence now for some time, but
Mhm.
we're still getting the second version of their bot,
Right, right.
which is what Tesla's showing us with them. So that was great. Um, this we're kind of jumping around a bit here, but Meta and Microsoft reported right after the closing bell yesterday. When this is aired, this will be a few days old now.
Mhm.
And he says, Jim Bianco here says, the red box is what Powell did to the S&P, no rate cut in September. And the green box is what Meta and Microsoft are doing to it after hours.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's
Yeah.
great.
So
Yes,
what one taketh away, the others giveth.
that's right. That's right. That's fantastic.
Changing gears, now we're talking about the US dollar.
Hmm.
This has been a particularly bad year for the US dollar. The only other year that's significantly worse is 1973. The dollar was down 15%. Right now we're down about 10 against the basket of currencies that this measures here,
Right.
in line with like a couple of other years. But the dollar typically doesn't have this kind of a bad year. Now,
No.
this is not wholly bad. It's not so great if you're vacationing and maybe in Europe or
Yeah.
somewhere where the dollar has gone down. But for U.S. exporters, this is a favorable development.
Right. Now, if you went back further, is this just this year? Yeah, that's just this year. If you went
Yeah,
back further, I believe you'd see that the dollar had gone up a lot. So there was so this partial part of this is kind of like Tesla.
yeah,
The dollar got out beyond its skis, and part
yeah.
of this is just coming back down to reality. And Tesla got out that 488 was probably a bit beyond its skis, and it came back to. I think reality should be more like 400 than 320, but this would be a similar problem here.
Yeah, except for the rule, Randy, that you always have to show, a chart started in January. You can't
Oh
you
yeah,
can't cross over a previous year.
yeah, that is the rule.
Yeah, you have to forget what happened in the past and just focus on this last period of
Yeah,
time.
because the beginning of a year is the most important point to,
That's right.
yeah, it has so much to do with everything. So, okay, there was one other issue with it. Oh, yeah. So the other issue here is I haven't seen a single person, I haven't seen one headline mention that the impact on imports of this 10 to 12%, because it's like 12% in Europe, that this drop has almost the exact same impact as the raise in tariffs in Europe from 2.5 to 15%. So that will also the same guy in Europe that's going to send something to the United States, the tariff had a 12% impact, and this is having a 10 to 12% impact.
Yeah, well, let's not let those facts get in the way of the narrative that people want to spin. Yeah.
Yes, it
Now, speaking of narratives, Randy,
yes.
it seems that I've become a lightning rod for criticism
Uh-oh. You be,
about an idea that I put forth.
I see another one.
Yeah, it was called the most horrible idea ever, I think, is what somebody called it.
What's all I did
Right. Now, other people actually want me to do a shareholder resolution on this next
Oh,
year.
wow.
So let me share this with you.
Okay.
Hold your judgment maybe initially. But it'd be good to have maybe a rational discussion about this
Right. In the comments below.
in the comments below, if that's possible. So Tesla has money that they hold on the balance sheet. It's about $36 billion.
Right.
Okay. Now, they need a lot of that money for working capital.
Yeah.
They're building infrastructure, they're building plants, they're investing in things, in AI, et cetera. What I'm talking about here is taking any excess of that money, which right now there may be none,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's just a sliver,
Mm-hmm.
and starting a program and building up a treasury reserve of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I outlined three strategies here if they were to use Bitcoin a bit more seriously. And this is separate and apart from accepting Bitcoin as payments.
Right. Right.
Okay, which is another thing that they could consider doing. Whatever, that's fine. I'm just talking about the corporate treasury side with excess capital.
Well, let's start off by saying I don't know on a corporation that large what they would normally do with their excess cash. One would assume that some of it would be like in treasuries or in short-term
Mostly treasuries. Yeah.
mostly treasuries. It might be in certificates of deposit. I mean, there's ways that you can maybe get a little more interest, but Tesla's only been earning about 4 to 5%, I think, interest on their now. I don't know if it's 4 or 5% because I don't know how much of it is being invested at any given time. But
Right.
when you show interest earned, it's never a really, really big number.
That's right. So they already hold some Bitcoin.
Yep.
They hold 11,509. At one point, they owned more. They sold about three-quarters of it.
Right.
But for what they hold now, which is about $1 billion worth, 1.1 billion, something like that, I'm using Michael Saylor's Bitcoin 24 model for
Mhm.
the price predictions on Bitcoin. These aren't my numbers, they're from his model. And basically, he's got like 50% return on Bitcoin this year and then going down each year so that by 2035, it's a 25% return.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. They're pretty high numbers, but based on where Bitcoin has been, he's got it coming down.
Right.
And that would get then Tesla's Bitcoin holdings to be worth about 35 billion in 2035 if they didn't buy any more.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
just to hold what they have, not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But if Bitcoin is going to perform that well, and again, I don't have any reason to believe that it won't do very well, maybe not quite this well, but if it does better than treasuries, which I think is a pretty easy statement to make over the next 10, 15 years.
Mhm.
Another strategy then would be to buy more.
Right.
And I just simply modeled here by saying that they should buy 21,000 coins each year.
Mm.
Now, of course, it'll be dictated by the availability of cash flows, excess cash flows.
Sure.
But as we've talked on previous shows, that Robotaxi is going to throw off a lot of cash. Optimus will as well.
Right.
They're actually going to have a problem with too much cash on the books.
Right.
There'll be calls from investors to pay dividends, to buy back stock. I'm suggesting they should actually do something better with it rather than enter into a world of massive uncertainty around the impact of AI
Mhm.
by giving capital back is enter that world with a financial fortress, the biggest financial fortress you could build for the uncertainty that's coming. Okay. So if they did this, and based on the price from the model, prices of Bitcoin from the model, they could get to a Bitcoin treasury reserve of about $740 billion.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's getting significant, almost a trillion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Now, sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, no, you go.
Okay. Now there's a third way. And this is what I think a lot of people think that I'm crazy for, or they think that I'm some kind of genius. I'm neither. But I do think that it's worth thinking about over time. And I'm not suggesting necessarily that Tesla start this now, but this is worthwhile. So Elon himself has said that fiat money is hopeless.
Yeah.
So when asked about would his political party support Bitcoin, he said yes. So the idea then would be to say, okay, if we're going to move from fiat money to Bitcoin over time as a form of capital, as a
Mhm.
store of value, then maybe a strategy of actually trying to buy more Bitcoin earlier would be better because buy it now while it's cheap before everybody else owns it.
Right.
Okay. So what you could do, and this is totally separate from Tesla's operating businesses, is sell preferred stock.
Mhm.
The preferred is not convertible into
Mhm.
common.
Mhm.
Okay, it's almost like a separate financial business unit.
Sure.
You sell the preferred, and you give the preferred a nice, attractive dividend. And you could say that there's a lot of Tesla shareholders that would love some income from Tesla. This would be a way to sort of, keep money invested with Tesla and help the company, but then also for them to earn some attractive dividends. So let's say it's a, 8, 10% yield. Tesla sells the preferred. They
Mhm.
take the proceeds from that preferred and they buy Bitcoin with it,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And they rinse and repeat. They keep doing that. And over time, you could actually accelerate your holdings of Bitcoin by doing that and using a little bit of leverage from that And in this case, with this model, I've got them at 1.23 trillion of Bitcoin by 2035. And that's just using like 15% sort of leverage, which is probably enough. Okay. So, you know, it's issuing about 185 billion of preferred stocks over the next 10 years, growing over time. And you could further accelerate this by Tesla buying more Bitcoin with its cash flows,
Right.
which actually may be a bigger influence on
Right.
this than just
Right.
using the preferred. And maybe this isn't even necessary unless you really want to buy more Bitcoin now. You could start doing this. Okay. So I'm just floating this idea out there and saying, again, the premise of this is to rapidly build up capital to support future AI initiatives that you don't know really what they're going to cost. And right now, Tesla is constrained by the amount of money they can put to CapEx.
Sure.
If they had more money, would they? Maybe. Maybe Elon would say, you know what? We're constrained by management bandwidth, not money.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. But maybe at some point, if they had more money at their disposal, they would invest it. This might be one way to help support that. Or just in general, just to put a really strong capital base under the company. Okay. Now, the negative with this is it does increase the volatility of the company's earnings because the changes in value of the Bitcoin now flow through the income statement.
Sure.
That could be a positive or negative. I think Wall Street would just ignore that, just like they already have. So anyway, it's an idea out there for consideration. We're seeing other companies do this, right? And the companies that are doing it today are kind of the companies that need to do something because they don't really have strong businesses, but they've got a whole bunch of capital that is just sitting there. And they've become what you would call Bitcoin treasury companies.
I see. Yes, yes.
But Tesla has an advantage over all of them because it's going to have a massively strong operating business that's throwing off a lot of cash flow. Now, there's one other benefit, is it would be an added benefit for Tesla Energy. Because Bitcoin mining is an energy intensive business and they would benefit from megapacks to help them keep operations going, help support the energy grid. It's kind of a, it's just like AI is energy intensive, so is Bitcoin mining.
Right.
So in this way, I kind of see Tesla becoming a self-financing, sustainable energy, real-world AI, and Bitcoin treasury company. It could be sort of all three.
Yeah. So why couldn't Tesla actually do their own mining?
They could.
Yeah.
They could. Again, that's a very capital-intensive business.
Yeah.
And they could if they wanted to. I'm not sure that they would have any big advantage over any other of the miners there.
Yeah.
Does the Bitcoin industry need more miners? I don't know. Right. It's one of those things that Tesla should do it if it's needed, but otherwise they don't really need to do it.
Yeah. So the advantage is what do you want to call it? The advantage over the others is this will be another vertical operation where they can provide the power, the compute, the technological genius, and then they'd be mining it for themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed for any other purpose. So the entire thing becomes vertical, which might be a better solution than just buying them at the market, rather they be buying under market because they'd be mining it themselves.
Yeah, the only thing about the mining thing is that right now there's like 450 Bitcoin mined a day. I mean, how much of that are you going to get?
Yeah, yeah.
Versus just buying it
hat.
yourself in the market, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's the best path.
Like I said, talking out of my hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
If the mining industry needed support from Tesla, then that's fine. I would be okay with that. But from what I can tell, the Bitcoin mining industry is in pretty strong shape.
Yeah.
It's globally distributed. There's a lot of miners all around the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. From a Bitcoin security perspective, if we're getting to the point where we're worried about other countries having too much mining power, then fine, Tesla and other companies could step in and ramp it up. Okay. It's like when you discover that China has more ships than you do, you start building more ships so that you equalize that and you're kind of at the same point. The same notion is true, I think, of Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
You can kind of think of that as a military in some sense.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. This is kind of interesting for individuals to think about. This post by Adam Livingston, How Bitcoin Keeps You Rich. Right. And he's doing a comparison. He says, since COVID in 2020, inflation has absolutely decimated the purchasing power of your dollar. What if Bitcoin was your money? Right. And so he's got a few examples. So here is antacids on Amazon. The price in Amazon in January 2020 was 119. Now it's 139. It's up 17%. But in Bitcoin terms, the price of antacids is down 93%.
There you go.
Okay, gasoline up 22 in Bitcoin terms, down 93%. Eggs up 158% in Bitcoin terms, down 85%. Your omelet now qualifies for FHA financing.
There you go.
Milk's up 24% in Bitcoin terms, down 93. Ground beef up 57%, Bitcoin terms down 91. You get the message here, right?
Yep,
Bacon's up 29%, Bitcoin's down 92. So if Bitcoin was viewed as money, these things actually would have gone down in price massively.
Right.
So everybody's always focused on the volatility of Bitcoin, but over a longer period of time, at least a 4 or 5 year period to get kind of through the cycle of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's been a very deflationary asset to own in terms of the impact on costs.
100%.
Right. And so on. So he's got a number of examples here. First class stamps, they're all the same. Median existing home prices up 63% and Bitcoin terms down 90.
Right.
Right. So it's not just companies that should be saving some of the reserves in Bitcoin. It also applies to people as well.
Sure.
Okay. To hedge against the risks of debasement and inflation. McChicken sandwich up 55% and Bitcoin terms it's down 91. That would seem very cheap if you could buy
right
sandwiches at 91% less. Coca-Cola, etc. And the last slide, Randy, is this is the piece of paper that Trump handed to Jerome Powell.
Yes.
This is what it really said.
That's what it really said, yeah.
Yeah, but he struggled to get the message.
Yeah, he didn't get it. Apparently it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so in the 2 minutes we have, because you have a hard out, so just really quickly, the hot tip on X right now is whether we should invest in XAI as a company, whether Tesla should invest about $5 billion. It sounds like you think we should invest $2 or $5 billion in Bitcoin. Which would be first and second? Which is more important?
Well, they should have invested in XAI in the seed round. That should have been an option, and I'm disappointed that wasn't the case because there was a decision made not to build that within Tesla because he wanted to attract AI engineers. But to me, Tesla should have gotten in on the action at least to some degree there, and I'm disappointed that didn't happen. Okay, that's water under the bridge. Can't change that. At this point, to me, obviously, XAI is also important to Tesla's mission. Right, they're building the large language models that eventually you'll interface with in the car and with the humanoid robot. And so I see that as an operating opportunity for Tesla, and that would supersede what I was talking about in terms of investing in Bitcoin.
Okay. All right.
You've got to take care of the operating business first and its capital needs, and then beyond that, you can consider investing that capital.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me get you out of here on time. As always, sir, we're so happy to have you come on and make all this stuff colorful and interesting by the slideshows. And also, sometimes you even add some, useful commentary.
Occasionally, once in a while.
Okay. So I'm going to get you out of here right on time. And to all of you out there, it's been great talking to you.
Thanks, Randy.